YouTube? Jumpy23 here with the final Barren Mesa episode. Don't be scared off by the video length, these are all real maps. There are just 2 turn-forward kill X maps here where I have to wait for reinforcements, and I couldn't decide on a better way to cut these videos up. Anyway, we start in Barren Gateway, which, like all gateway maps, is very hard. I need 2 spark energy procs at the start, one on Mario, and one on either of my other units. Mario's taking Electroid because he needs to kill some depleters with Hero Sight. Rabid Mario is taking Vambastra because he needs to kill everything else, with a variety of elemental weaknesses. Here's why I needed that first spark energy proc. Somebody needs to use a move boost here in order to get everyone past the first section. It's slightly easier if Rabid Mario does it, because with 19 move he can walk right to the staircase. However, I can use a team jump to do it with Luigi. We immediately get started on using Hero Sight, which will take out all of the enemies on this platform. The other nice thing about Rabid Mario getting the Spark Energy proc is that this team jump is insanely tight for him, but easy for Luigi. I equipped extra dashes on Luigi for this fight, which helps a bit with reliability, but it's not necessary in this clear. Since Luigi is spending both of his action points on support, it's not like anything else would have been better. Now it's time for the last difficult stomp chain of the run. I will not be sad to see these go. These 3 enemies are lined up perfectly to get Mario all the way to the far bounce pad, but you can see how little leeway I have on the stomp inputs, especially the last one on this Magic Koopa. Mario's last duty will be taking out the 6 enemies up here. There are 2 ghostly walkers who are unkillable on enemy phase, and 1 scoper who also doesn't like to move. This is why Mario needed his other action point open, Multi-Dash. Standing behind full cover will get the last 3 enemies to move, usually, I think. It works this time at least. Absolutely everyone else on the map is in range of glitter. It's a very specific glitter spot, but Luigi doesn't have too much difficulty reaching it with his extended movement range. Although maybe he has a bit of trouble finding it. Rabid Mario's actually got the tougher movement. He needs to bounce forward off of this cover, which requires a very good jump. However, he's just in range of every single enemy that got pulled by glitter, and one-shots them all with any semblance of luck. If he gets really unlucky, that's why we have extra dashes. The final enemies parade themselves in front of Lee Harvey Oswald's open window, completing Barren Gateway in 1 turn. The next map is locked to just Mario and Edge, and I have to kill a bunch of beefy melee enemies. There are almost always 6 on this map, but this one randomization had 5, which of course is better. Again, Hero Sight will be doing most of the work, but since these enemies are so bulky, I'll need to be a bit more clever than usual. Edge will need 1 out of 2 Spark Energy procs, either on Glitter or on Electro Dash. Sorry, turbocharge. They're both yellow and I got thrown off. So that she can throw this POW. It'll chain with the barrel to put big damage on all 3 of these enemies. Mario will still need to crit 1 on both the Deep Freeze and Riptide, and he can't afford to fail. I've already budgeted in my second Hero Sight charge elsewhere. With Vamp Astra, he has a 70% crit chance, but that's not super great. It's important not to get caught in the Deep Freeze's explosion. I've had that happen before. And here's where I spend my Hero Sight failure. Fortunately, since it's a Riptide, it will charge when shot, giving me another shot. I do this one first to let Edge's dash heat up a bit. Lastly, Mario uses his Stomp for some more damage on this Riptide, removing the need for 1 crit. I still get both crits here anyway, though. Then to cap off this clear, Mario needs 2 out of 2 crits on this Magnafowl. I love ending a difficult clear with a coin flip chance of success. At least the map is short. The Courageous Duo is completed in 1 turn. The first of our 2 Defeat X maps, Darkmess Uncontained, is the longer one. You're seeing the ultimate rare here. I've actually invested skill points into raising my HP. This map has a lot of Magikoopa reinforcements who are liable to actually fuck my shit up if I'm not careful. Anyway, we'll route the map on turn 1 with Overwatch skills. The earliest I can clear the map is turn 4, and all of my skills, like Turbocharge, have 3 turn cooldowns, so it's fine to use everything with Reckless Abandon on turn 1.
Too easy.
It's important to dash the enemy above the ledge first because with 2 dashes and a move boost, Edge can just barely reach the pipe. If I were to dash the enemies below the ledge first, she wouldn't get the extended movement range after dropping down. Magicians have that annoying habit of shielding themselves before moving. Luigi uses glitter here to get around that, although there were probably other ways as well. Then with a Steely Stare, Luigi can take out all the enemies on the top platform, clearing out the initial enemies on the first turn. So it may look like I used a move boost on Edge for no reason, but the reinforcement portals can spawn either at the top or the bottom of the map, completely randomly. Having Edge move up here is a hedge against that randomness. Thankfully, the portals will continue to spawn in the same location every turn after this, unlike the Sluggish and the Puckish, where they alternated and moved away from my characters, so I don't have to run up and down the map to kill enemies. My positioning here is kind of mediocre. Magikoopas will spawn and hit my units from behind cover with their explosive attacks. But rather than play better, I just invest in HP and tank the hits. So a new wave of portals has spawned, but even after these, there still won't be 15 enemies. So I'm free to take another easier breather turn and just focus on killing what's already spawned in so that my units don't die. Edge pulls out a POW to break the magician's shields. Then I realize that the magician hadn't made a shield this time, so she just stores it away in case it's useful on a future turn. Without shields, it just takes some dashes and hero sights to finish off everybody.
Move it. Anyone else?
I decide to stash the POW away somewhere safer where it won't accidentally get blown up. And Luigi feels a bit too exposed up here on the ledge, so I reshuffle my units' positions for the final round of Magic Koopa attacks. I also use mushrooms for the first time all game. I've never bothered to buy any, so it's a good thing that you get them for free sometimes. Now it's the final turn, so I need to spend actions on things like Turbocharge, Hero Sight, and Steely Stare. However, I do at least have a free action for Glitter, which helps a lot.
Alright! Let's go! Okie dokie! Oh yeah!
Turns out that the place I put my POW block was supremely unhelpful, as Edge isn't able to reach it in time to break everyone's shields. It ends up that the clear isn't that tight though, and I get by without it, albeit at the cost of one Hero Sight charge.
No good. Can't hide.
Everything is in place, and there's really nothing left to do but end turn and hope for the best. This magician gives me quite the scare, moving too quickly to trigger Steely Stare and burning my last Hero Sight. Fortunately, with the power of guaranteed crits, Luigi's able to wrap it up on the Magic Koopa, finishing Darkmess Uncontained in 4 turns. And the last map of Barren Mesa is Desert Highway Darkmess, another Defeat X map, so yet again it's Mario, Luigi, and Edge. The enemies here are Riptides and Spell Raisers. I have to defeat 12, and 6 start on the map. The 3 Spell Raisers can each summon Stooges on turn 1, but they can't summon again on turn 2. Each turn adds 2 Riptide reinforcements. As such, we have a max of 11 enemies at the end of turn 2, so this is floored at a 3 turn. We'll be killing the Riptides and Deep Freeze on turn 1, but we actually want to leave the Spell Raisers at least mostly alive to make Stooges. That's why Edge uses the Fortify Spark power here. I need to rig Spark Energy for that, but in hindsight, that's goddamn stupid, and I could probably just have not used Fortify at all. Anyway, after a team jump and a move boost, Edge is able to reach that first Riptide.
Yeah.
She intentionally dashes once before I set up Hero Sight, both to avoid wasting a charge and to get another dash for her movement range. Then Mario and Edge clean up the rest of the enemies. And Edge heads backward to set up a team jump for Luigi.
Here we go.
Then with her ridiculous 25 movement range, she also heads forward to set up a team jump for Luigi. I use Steely Stare here, which may seem stupid since I want to leave the Spell Razors alive, but with careful positioning, hence my range check with CL. I can make sure that Luigi only kills Stooges. This probably wasn't necessary, but it was a cool flex, so I went for it. The Spell Razors have served their purpose and can now be discarded. Unfortunately, their summon has a cooldown, so they won't summon more Stooges on turn 2. Luigi pulls in everything left with glitter. Eventually. Setting up some quick Edge plus Mario action.
Okie dokie.
And by quick, I mean kind of slow because I'm full of spaghetti. Sorry about the sloppiness. It's tough to test clears of randomized maps which end on enemy phase, because once I win, I lose access to this randomized layout and have to start afresh.
Want more?
But I get there eventually, and then Mario uses a cooldown clock, so that he has access to Electroid for the final turn. Luigi also uses one for Steely Stare and Turbocharge. Then after thinking a bit, I bring my units forward. I decide it may be important to have Mario forward on turn 3. Again, sorry for the sloppiness. Last time, I promise. On the final turn, we do something very similar to the first, with a million spark powers.
Alright. Let's go.
And then Edge intentionally dashing before setting up Hero Sight. Again, for the same reasons. Well, the movement range doesn't matter this time, but we don't want to waste a Hero Sight
Let's
charge.
go.
Luigi makes his way out to his max range.
Oh yeah.
And then uses Steely Stare. And we do a little spawn camping. Desert Highway Darkmess is completed in 3 turns, wrapping up Barren Mesa. All that's left is Curse's Stronghold. Thanks for watching.